Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking through a couple player props I like on Prizepicks for tonight's NBA slate on Tuesday, April the 25th. It is Taco Tuesday today, so we're going to have some discounted projections that Prizepicks is going to give us for today, and we already have one up on the board at the time I'm recording this video. Anthony Edwards, his points prop got discounted from 28.5 to 23.5, so that's a 5-point discount. If you guys want to take that over on that Anthony Edwards taco, that will be available until 3:30 Eastern time, and then there will be another taco that goes up, and then there will be one more taco that goes up for the late night game. So there'll be 3 tacos posted for today, as always on Prizepicks. They do this every Tuesday where they give discounted projections. It's something that a lot of the other DFS sites don't really do too often, and they do it every single week. So if you guys are not playing on Prizepicks yet, make sure to sign up. Use that promo code Noah. When you do sign up, you'll get your first deposit matched up to $100. But we got 2 picks to give out for this Tuesday slate, guys. If you guys do want to pair these 2 picks with that Anthony Edwards taco, you can do so. But specifically in this video, we're just going to talk about the 2 plays that I'm on personally. 2 fantasy score props we're going to look at for today. Before we do talk through these 2 plays, though, as always, if you guys do enjoy these Prizepicks videos, make sure you hit that like button down below. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And I do want to recap our 2 plays from yesterday before we talk through today's play. So yesterday we gave out 2 picks. We gave out a fantasy score prop and we gave out an assist prop. And we cashed both those plays. So hopefully you guys did take those. We took the over on Giannis's fantasy score at 48.5. Just felt that line was way too low for Giannis if he was going to play full minutes. Giannis wound up playing 38 minutes, had a triple-double, finished with over 50 fantasy points, hit pretty easily. He had like 40 fantasy points in the first half, so it really wasn't much of a sweat there for Giannis to go over his fantasy score. And then we took the over on Kyle Lowry's assist at 3.5. And I know that line later in the day, it did get bumped up to 4, but Lowry came through for us. He got 5 assists, so he went over his original line and he went over his bump line as well. And I had people in the comments section, as usual, every time a play gets off to a slow start, oh, dude, why would you pick Lowry? Chalk it. He's got 1 assist at halftime. And it's just like, dude, there's still 2 more quarters left. Like, just relax. Lowry comes in the game in the second half, gets like 3 assists in like 2 minutes, and easily goes over. So man, it makes me so mad when people just go to the comment section and be like, why would you pick this play like at the halftime? Just let the game play out, man. Let it play out. So Lowry went over his assist, got there for us, cashed both those 2 plays yesterday. Hopefully you guys did tail, though. But let's talk through the 2 picks I like for this Tuesday slate. So, again, we got 2 fantasy score props I'm liking for today. And the first one is going to be Bogdan Bogdanovic. His fantasy score line on Prizepicks, it sits at 26.5. And this is an over that I do like for Bogdan. I expect Bogdan to have a much bigger role tonight for the Hawks because the Hawks obviously are going to be without DeJounte Murray. He got suspended for this game. I'm expecting Bogdan to start. The Hawks could do something weird and they could start like Sadiq Bey. They could start Jalen Johnson. They could bring Aaron Holiday into the rotation and start him. But given that Bogdan's props are available already, it makes me assume that all the books are projecting him to start. And if Bogdan's starting, I'm expecting him to play pretty big minutes. I mean, Atlanta needs offense. They need someone that can handle the ball. And I do expect Bogdan to kind of play DeJounte Murray's role in the sense that they're going to stagger Trey and Bogdan so that one of those guys is on the floor at all times. When Trey's not out there, Bogdan's going to be out there. When Bogdan's on the bench, they're going to have Trey out there. So I expect Bogdan to play really big minutes here. He's played 6 total games this season without DeJounte Murray. He's gone over this fantasy score line in 3 of those 6 games. The games, though, where he went under, I mean, he was really close. He had 25.5 fantasy points in 31 minutes against Orlando. He had 24.6 fantasy points in 31 minutes against the Timberwolves. And then there was a game against Detroit where he played 27 minutes and had 21.7 fantasy points. But the other 3 games against Chicago, Brooklyn, and Charlotte, he did go over this fantasy score. And if you take a look at Bogdan this season in the games where he's played at least 34 minutes, I'm expecting about 34 to 36 minutes from him tonight. And if you take a look at the 5 games this season where he's played at least 34 minutes, he is over this fantasy score line in 4 out of those 5 games. The one game he didn't hit was against the Magic. He played 35 minutes and had just 20.8 fantasy points. He also shot 4 for 12 in that game, so kind of a poor shooting game. But I'm expecting pretty good minutes here for Bogdan, and we've seen Bogdan be a pretty good permanent producer kind of throughout his career when he was on the Kings and now on the Hawks. When he gets playing time, he can produce. He's a good offensive player. He can facilitate as well, and I think his assist numbers should be pretty good whenever he's playing without Trae Young, and I do expect him to get plenty of minutes with Trae Young off the bench or on the bench because I think like I said, they're going to stagger Bogdan and Trey so that like one of those guys is on the floor at all times. And if you do take a look at this season with DeJounte Murray off the floor, Bogdan does average about 1 fantasy point per minute. I believe he's slightly over 0.9 fantasy points per minute. So if we expect Bogdan to play 34, 35 minutes, if we expect him to average close to a fantasy point per minute, I feel like this line should be closer to like 28.5, 29.5, maybe even like 30. I just feel like 26.5 is a little bit too low for Bogdan here. And I know this game has a lot of blowout risk. You know, the Hawks are favored by like 13.5 here at home. Very likely that the Celtics. The Celtics are favored by like 13.5 here at home. Very likely that after tonight, you know, this series is going to be over and the Celtics are going to win tonight. They're going to, you know, finish this thing. But because it is kind of a do or die game for Atlanta and it is the playoffs, I don't expect these guys to just play like 24 minutes. You know, this game could be a blowout and there's definitely a chance it will be. But if you take a look at like in the playoffs, I mean, even when games are blowouts, the guys are going to play till the final few minutes. You know, maybe if it's like a 20-point game with 2 minutes left, maybe they'll sub the starters out then. But for the most part, you can expect starters to play down to the last few minutes in the playoffs, even in blowouts. So I wasn't really worried about blowout too much. Maybe Bogdan loses like 2 or 3 minutes, but I wouldn't expect him to just play like 26 minutes or something, even in a blowout. I still expect in a blowout, he would play like 30 minutes, 31, 32. And obviously, if the game is competitive, he could play 34, 35, 36 minutes. So I like the over fantasy score here for Bogdan. I feel like this line is a little bit too low with DeJounte Murray suspended for this game. And the other guy that I like is going to be Karl-Anthony Towns. His fantasy score line, it sits at 36.5 on Prizepicks. And I know Towns so far in the series against against Denver, he has not really been that great. I mean, he's gone over this fantasy score line in back-to-back games. Really struggled the first 2 games of the series, though. Has dealt with some foul trouble as well. But, you know, Towns this season has been a greater than a fantasy point per minute player. He's averaged 1.17 fantasy points per minute. And I think barring, you know, foul trouble, barring, you know, maybe a blowout or something. But again, like the same thing I said, you know, as talking about those Atlanta guys, it kind of applies to these Minnesota guys. You know, this is Minnesota's potentially an elimination game for them. If they don't win this game, their season's over. So I think Minnesota is going to play their guys down to the final few minutes, even if the game is not that competitive. So I'm expecting pretty big minutes here for Towns. And you look at the games so far in this series, I mean, game 1, massive blowout, 29.5 minutes for Towns. Game 2 was competitive, but I think Towns was in a little bit of foul trouble, I do believe. He had 5 fouls in that game, played 34 minutes. Game 3, he avoided foul trouble. It was a competitive game, and Towns played 41.5 minutes in that one. And then last game, I believe Towns, he fouled out in 36 minutes. And I think that was the game that went to overtime. So obviously Towns would have played more. But the game that was competitive where he was not in foul trouble, Cat played 41.5 minutes. So I think, you know, as long as he avoids foul trouble here, I think Towns is going to play like close to 40 minutes. And he's averaged well over a fantasy point per minute this season. I know he's not been that productive in this series, but I think we just kind of have to look at his season-long rates and not, try and not let recency bias take over here. I expect more times than not when Cat plays 36 minutes or more, he's going to go over 36.5 fantasy score. And if you do take a look at this season in the games where he's played at least 36 minutes, so there have been 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there have been 11 total games during the regular season where Towns played at least 36 minutes. He's over this fantasy score line in 10 out of those 11 games. There was only one game, and it was against Charlotte. He played 37 minutes, had just 35.3 fantasy points, but he also shot 6 for 22 in that game. So he scored 35.3 fantasy points in 37 minutes while shooting 6 for 22. Every other game this season where he played at least 36 minutes, he had 40 fantasy points or more. So really feel like this line is kind of, it's almost like banking in blowout risk, it's banking in foul trouble, and we just kind of have to assume that doesn't happen here. I mean, sure, the game could blow out, but like I said earlier, I think even in a blowout, I feel like these guys are going to play down to the final few minutes. They're not going to just sub them out with 8 minutes left. Even if it's like a 20-point game with 7, 8 minutes left, they're going to be out there. The starters are going to be out there. Again, I think if they do get subbed out, it'll be like with 2 or 3 minutes left. So I'm expecting Cat to play big minutes here. Hopefully he avoids foul trouble. Over 36.5 fantasy score is a prop that I do like for today. And these are the two kind of early picks I like for this Tuesday slate, guys. Recording this video about 12 o'clock Eastern time, so these are not all my picks for today. I do give out more Prizepicks plays over on Patreon. I'll provide those later this afternoon. But if you guys do want to take these two picks, if you want to pair them with the Anthony Edwards Taco, that is available until 3:30 Eastern time. You can do that. You can also take a look at the board and see if there's anything else that stands out to you. Prizepicks They do offer a ton of props and a ton of different categories. They also offer a ton of different sports. So if you like to look at NHL, MLB, soccer, PGA, whatever it may be, you can make multi-sport entries. You can mix and match sports on Prizepicks. It's a lot of fun. You guys should definitely be playing over there. Make sure when you sign up for Prizepicks, use that promo code NOAH, and you will get your first deposit matched up to $100. But we cashed our 2 plays yesterday, guys. Hopefully, we can do it again for this Tuesday slate. I appreciate you guys watching the video as always. Hopefully, we can all make some money tonight, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.